this week's episode of Just Chris Podcast. I am your host, Chris Carter. Episode 36. We're back again with another solo episode for you guys. If you have not yet had the opportunity to listen to last week's episode with Jordan Hadding, pause this right now. Go to my page on Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you're watching this, and queue up the podcast with Jordan Hadding. A great episode. I was definitely glad I was able to get him on the podcast. We've been talking for a while, and he was like, Chris, when am I going to be able to provide my insight? When am I going to be able to talk about fantasy and, senior year with you? And, I gave him the opportunity. He successfully did it, and I had a good time with him. But yeah, so if you haven't listened to it, definitely check that out after this week's episode. For this week's episode, though, I do have a few topics in mind I want to talk about. We're going to cover a little bit of music. We're going to talk about the crypto markets. And then we're going to highlight a few of the books that I talked about in the most recent episode, the most recent solo episode of Just Chris Podcast. So, I guess to begin, when it comes to music, I had a pretty full week of concerts. Just this past week, I went to 2 concerts. One was in a very large venue. One was in an extremely small venue. Both I had a great time at. The first one that I went to was Lil Baby and Lil Durk. I don't even know the words to say for it, but that was the one that was at a really big venue. It was an outside venue. Overall, if I could rank the concert overall, I would definitely say 7 out of 10. Now, going into it, I tried to really study up on his music. And, I listen to Lil Baby. I listen to Lil Durk. I sound super white saying that, but, I listen to Lil Baby. I listen to Lil Durk. Try to study up on their music. Try to do the best that I could with, learning their lyrics, the ones that, I didn't know already prior to going to it. And I will say that my studying didn't quite cover it. It was the same with my little sister. We talked about it while we were in the venue. Like, man, I wish we would have just studied harder. I wish we would have prepared a week more in advance because they played a ton of songs that I was not familiar with, especially Lil Durk. I know maybe 1 or 2 songs by Mr. Lil Durk, and the rest of them just right over my head. It was a good time though. I mean, I definitely had fun. I had more fun people watching. Because if you've been to Walnut Creek and you're around my age, what goes down. What goes down at pole 3. And fortunately for us, we were able to get a spot right at pole 3, or a little to the left of pole 3. Definitely a good distance away from the crowd that gathers at pole 3. And if I can, describe it in any way, that's where all the high schoolers go. I don't even know the word. Just a bunch of high schoolers go there, and that's just the chill spot. That's the gather spot for all the shenanigans that they get into. So we were able to see that from afar, yet still close enough to hear the music. And when Lil Baby went on, first few songs, I knew them. Knew them like the back of my hand. I knew the songs. I felt good about them. I was like, you know what? The studying definitely paid off. I'm definitely glad that I studied up on Mr. Lil Baby. And then 4th song, 5th song, 6th song, and so on. I did not know Mr. Lil Baby all that well. And from being at a distance, kind of the way the sound traveled, couldn't understand him all that well, and we really didn't have a incredible view on him. Still decent though. Like I said, 7 out of 10 for the concert. Would I go back and see Mr. Lil Baby, Mr. Lil Durk again? Maybe. I mean, the tickets, the one big reason why we went to the concert, the tickets were incredibly cheap. Paid $20 to go see him. It was a fun thing to do on a Friday night. It was me and my sister, her boyfriend, and then 2 of their friends came with us. I drove us there, drove us back. Shout out to the, DD of the year here. Next concert though, now this one, I had a ×2 more fun. Did I even word that right? I had twice as much fun at this concert than I did at Mr. Lil Baby, Mr. Lil Durk. I went and saw Jack Harlow last night at the Ritz. And if you're familiar with the Ritz, it's a small venue, open standing venue. And when you're in there, like, it's packed. It is super jammed. Prior to going to the concert, I told my sister, I said, look, we're going to get there early. Like, we're going to start lining up early so we can get right to the front of the stage. Like, I'm trying to see Mr. Jack Harlow right at the front of the stage. Unfortunately, I got off work around 5, about 5:15, and I had to go by the venue just because I had to get gas on the way home. Otherwise, like, I wasn't making it home. And I was thinking maybe like some people would have been lined up, like maybe like 10 to 15 people lined up. No, 5:15, a crowd was lined up. And the concert didn't start until 8:30, and the gates didn't open until 7:30. So still like 2.5 hours away, it's starting to pack up. And I live a half hour from the venue, like 25 minutes from the venue. So I then had to drive home, get changed. We had to drive back, and we had to get my sister's friends on the way. We got there, I would say, like, we definitely got a decent spot in line compared to a lot of the other people who got there late. We could have done better. It may have been easier if I would have just met them there after I got off work. Maybe could have gotten a little closer. But, like, it is what it is. We learn from it. And, going forward, when Alexis and I go see Yung Gravy in, I believe, October, November, one of the 2 months, when we go there, like, the whole day is going to be dedicated to standing outside. Because, like, I'm trying to see Mr. Yung Gravy up close. I would say we were probably, like, still, like, 10 to 15 feet from Jack Harlow. And when we got in there, like, I tried my best to get us to the front. I told Alexis and her friends, I said, look, like, you kind of got to be an asshole in there. Like, you have to be assertive. We're going to do our absolute best to get to the front. And I would say, like, it worked for a little bit, and then it got to a point where there was absolutely nothing we could do about where we were standing. Right when we got in there, before it really started filling up, we had a decent spot, and I slowly, like, step by step, inch by inch, began moving forward, and I had Alexis right behind me and her friends behind her. And then we got to a good standing spot for a second, and these people came up behind us, and they were trying to block Alexis's friends from getting up to us. And I told them before the concert, I said, look, I'm going to get you guys to the front, especially one of Alexis's friends who's a huge Jack Harlow fan. I was like, I'm going to do my best to get you to the front. And so when we got in there and that girl started blocking us off, like, it was kind of a priority to get them closer than where Alexis and I were. And the whole time standing there with these people behind us, I was standing like a brick wall. Like, I was not moving at all. Like, and I kept hearing it, like, in my ears, and Alexis was hearing it as well. Like, these people behind us talking down on us, like, oh, who do these people think they are? Like, they're just going to try to get ahead of us. Like, one, I'm 1.5 feet taller than you. Good luck. Two, it's an open venue, like I said. Like, it's an open standing venue. Good luck. And then more people began to, pile in. And I was like, all right, here's the plan. I'm getting them ahead of me. So I turn around to the girl, and I reach for one of Alexis's friend's arms. And I look at the girl. I'm like, look, I'm trying to get my girlfriend and her friend through. Like, just please excuse us. And she gave me a dirty look. And I was like, look, it's an open standing venue. What do you expect to come in here and not be crowded, not fight for your spot, and not deal with assertive people? And she just looked at me like, okay, whatever. Like, at that point, there was nothing she could do. Like, I already won the game. Like, I got ahead of her, and that was the only goal. And then about halfway through the concert, they straight switched up on us. So they went from being dickheads to them, like, talking to us, like, getting to know us. Like, whoa, hold up. 20 minutes ago, you weren't even going to let her friends through, and now you're switching sides on us. And then they kept turning to me because, look, I'm going to say it, I was one of the tallest people, like, in our section. And so I towered over the rest of the people. And so they kept looking at me like, look, like, you're the only one that can push them through. Like, you're the only one that can get us closer. So I was like, you know what? All right, fine. Like, I'm going to try my best. But, like I said, like, you can only do so much in one of these venues. Excuse me. But one thing one thing I did feel bad about, once we got to a comfortable spot, I looked down and there's this couple standing in front of me, and dead ass, they're to my shoulders. They're right to my shoulders, like no taller than like 5 feet. And I'm like, oh my God, like I can't, I can't get ahead of these people. Like I'll feel way too bad. So I told him, I said, look, guys, if you squeeze through these people ahead of y'all, there's a spot right up there against the gate. Like, just go for it. And they really weren't on board with it. I guess they were comfortable standing behind a wall of people. And they remained standing there throughout the concert. I don't know how they were able to see. I don't know how they were able to take photos, because like even Alexis is, decently tall. Even she was like, kind of struggling to see up above us or see ahead of us at some points. I'll tell you what though, Mr. Jack Harlow put on an incredible show for us. He performed quite a few of his older songs, performed quite a few of his newer songs from his most recent album, and the shit was live. Like, I'm gonna tell you, like, the shit was live. Like, people were going crazy. I was hoping for a mosh pit to open up in the middle. Unfortunately, the mosh pit did not happen, but I'm all right with it. Like, I'm cool if the mosh pit didn't happen. And I'm trying to think of, like, some of the best parts of it. Like, he played a lot of great songs. And again, like, I did my best to study up on his older songs, because, I'll say, like, I'm a Jack Harlow fan, but I'm not going to say, like, I'm a day one, like, been following him since the jump. So he played quite a few of those older songs. And going into it again, very similar to Mr. Little Baby, Mr. Little Durk, studied up on the songs, made a whole playlist for what the set list was going to be. And I felt like I did well. And then I'm in there, and I'm following the songs. Like, I'm bumping to the songs. And, like, I knew a lot of the songs he was performing, but, like, I just couldn't follow along with it. I kind of felt like an idiot just standing there, like, just bobbing my head with it. But it was crazy. He put on a great show. At one point, one of, like, the decorations, like, on the stage was, like, a second level. And so he opened one of the songs standing out on the top. And I'll tell you, Jack Harlow ain't a little boy. Jack Harlow is not a little boy. I was surprised when I learned that he was 6'2". He's a hefty fella. Like, I wouldn't mess with Jack Harlow any day of the week. Actually, maybe I could take him, but it would be a very, very easy or very, very fair fight. Pretty even, I guess. I'm not going to go fight Jack Harlow though, but he's a big boy. And actually, one of my favorite things about the concert, similar to the Lil Baby concert, I opened up my fanny pack when I was getting ready for the concert, because, I wanted to put my keys in there, wanted to put my phone in there, and then my wallet in there as well. Open up my fanny pack, and I had a little baby, like a little plastic baby, probably like an inch long, that I had from a festival that I went to back in May. Totally forgot about him, so I was like, no way, like, I got Lil Baby with me. So that was kind of like the joke of the whole night. Like, we had Lil Baby with us while we were seeing Lil Baby. And I took a funny Snapchat photo of me with the baby, then turned around and see Lil Baby on stage. And I was like, you know what? We're bringing Mr. Lil Baby back to see Jack Harlow. And this is what threw me off. Like, one of the top moments of the night. We get into Alexis's car to go, and she's like, oh, look, I have something. I'm like, what do you have? Like, what could it be? Takes out a little bag filled with these plastic babies. 36 plastic babies. So we all brought the little babies into the concert. And then we brought a little extra, so we had to get them out to some people inside the concert. Closer to the end, we threw them up on stage. I wanted Jack Harlow to catch one of these little babies and be like, what in the world? Who has little babies at the concert? They made it on stage. They did not hit him, unfortunately. But then after the concert, we kind of walked up closer to the stage, and Alexis told one of the security guys, like, hey, can we get our little babies back? And he looked at us, and then he looked at the little babies on stage, and he just laughed. And we didn't get the little babies back, unfortunately. But overall, Lil Baby concert, 7 out of 10. Jack Harlow, I would definitely give it like a 9 out of 10. I think the only thing separating me from a 10 out of 10 with his concert was if we were able to get to the very front. I am looking forward to seeing Young Gravy. Like, I'm telling the podcast right now, I'm getting to the front of the Young Gravy concert. Like, I'm going to see this man point blank. Look forward to that. Maybe on the YouTube channel, on the podcast that week, I'll upload some videos from, maybe upload a couple pictures. I'm going to hold off on the Jack Harlow pictures because, like I said, like, the seats were good. Like, we had a good standing spot, but I don't know if I would, like, flex them. Some people may have flexed them, but, I wasn't really, I don't know. You get the gist. Great concert overall. To continue on of the topic with music, though, one thing that I did talk about last week when I recorded an episode. So I recorded the episode with Jordan Labor Day weekend. I was able to put that episode out the following week, so I had a week off in between. Then last week when I recorded an episode, I laid it out for the people. I laid out the Drake versus Kanye beef. I compared Certified Lover Boy, aka Certified Soft Boy. Compared that to Donda. Compared the features. Compared the producers. Really just laid out the pros and cons to each of the album. And you're probably thinking, like, Chris, why is this episode not up? Like, I kind of want to hear your take on Certified Soft Boy and Donda. Like, why can I not hear it? And this is what I'm gonna tell you guys. I've been saying this for a long time, that I really want to get into, kind of the routine of banking up episodes. So if there's a week where I don't want to record anything, like, I can still put it out. And I've been banking up episodes. I've been feeling good. I've been recording some episodes, just leaving them on my computer to sit for a little bit. I processed a couple. But here's how you're going to be able to listen to a lot of these episodes. Coming up at the end of the month, before that, recently, I ended the podcast supporter system, kind of the whole thing, where you subscribe to the podcast. The program that I use now has updated what they do when it comes to premium content, and they now have like an actual way to provide premium content to your followers. So I'm going to go down that route. Now, I wasn't able to start that up right away. I have to wait until the end of the month or for the current billing period to end when it came to the podcast supporters, like the whole way that thing worked. So the end of the month, I'm going to open that back up. I'm going to... Hey, what's up? Oh, you want to say hey to the podcast? Wait, say it again. I don't know if you can hear that here.
Hey to the podcast.
That's the goat, Mary. Moms. Hold up. All right. Bye. Love you. All right. Where was I? Oh, in terms of premium content. So with this, when I do release it, there will be those banked up, those saved episodes. Yeah, we got the mic squared away. Those banked up and saved episodes. So if you subscribe that way, there's going to be different levels to subscribe with different benefits that are already built into the program that I use. So it's a win-win. It works out. And when that gets up and running, you will have access to that in addition to a couple different episodes, including a few archived episodes from the past, from Just Chris podcast when I just started the podcast up. You'll have access to those. But I'll keep you guys in the loop with it. If you're really dying to hear the take on Certified Lover Boy and Donda, pros and cons, weighing out the benefits and, whatnot, that's going to be the way to listen to it. Now, the goal for these premium episodes, I'm just going to do off the rip episodes. So I come into these episodes with notes, like I prepare for them. But for those, it's just going to be off the rip. And I think that will kind of, it'll help perfect my storytelling abilities. Be able to kind of just speak on the spot. And those won't be edited at all. So whatever I record, kind of similar to this, whatever I record is just going to be uploaded. You'll be able to get some hot takes from yours truly, Chris Carter. When that stuff comes out, when it's released, I'll definitely be sure to let you guys know. Continuing into, further into the topic of music, I want to update you guys on a couple of diversifications when it comes to some playlists. So lately, I would say over this past month and a half, I've been on a real kick of British rappers. I've been deep in the game with some British rappers. I've really been diversifying my portfolio here. And I was introduced to a couple songs. You know, I'd followed them, you know, somewhat closely over the past few years. But then I started making a playlist. Like I started getting into it. So I constructed this playlist. Like I'm gonna tell you, they freaking hit. Like all of them certified bops. And the one thing that I really do like about the UK rap is one, how the beats are constructed, and how different they are from what we hear here. I would say they have a nice mix of kind of like deep house, like deep house, like dubstep type music, like a softer like techno. So one benefit of the UK rap. Another one, the content of these raps. It's much different than what we hear in America. You know, in America we're hearing raps about killing people, getting money, getting hoes, all of that. And yes, these UK rappers hit on that, but like they're not so like straight up like blatant with how they introduce it. Like, for example, Trippie Redd literally releases a song called I Kill People. And, you know, I wouldn't say that I'd come across a lot of British rappers who are just labeling their songs I Kill People. You know what I mean? And number 3, for why I'm bumping UK rap, the lingo they use, like the vernacular, it's unreal. Like, I'm extremely jealous of the people with an English accent, extremely jealous of like just how they talk, like the words that they use. And if it wasn't looked down upon, like I would definitely hop on that train. Unfortunately, you know, I don't have the ability. Born in America, live in North Carolina, you're not getting much exposure to English accents here. Number 2, with diversifying my diversifying my portfolio when it comes to music, I've been getting back to the roots of my white boy stuff. You know, white boy summer might be ending, might be coming up to an end, might be closing out, but what hasn't ended is white boy music. And you're thinking, Chris, what the hell is white boy music? What is white boy music? What is this stuff you speak of? Let me just ring the bell real quick with some artists that you may be, or groups you may be familiar with. We got Blink 182. We got Sum 41. We got Simple Plan, Metro Station, got a little bit of 303 mixed in there. These still aren't ringing the bell yet. Just think of the movie American Pie and all of the, you know, American Pie number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. All of the music used in American Pie, that's that white boy music. So I've been on a real kick with that lately as well. When I was at the beach back in August, my sister was like, look, like, the music you're playing's hidden, but you need to compose a playlist that consists of all of it. And it took me about a month to get it together. And we now have the white boy playlist. Now, when I name playlists, I usually try for it to be something kind of goofy or something ironic. You know, for the British playlist, it's literally just bops, bruv. But for the white boy playlist, it's I Hate My Stepdad. And you're like, Chris, why is it labeled I Hate My Stepdad? I don't have a stepdad, but I'm sure somebody who does have a stepdad and somebody who hates their stepdad listens to this white boy music. Like, they're bumping Blink 182 and Simple Plan, a little bit of Fall Out Boy as well, cursing their stepdad. So I thought it was a good fit. And then in addition to that, I have been working on a sleepers playlist, which, you know, how it is, like, every song is going to hit. And it may not be a big name song that you think of or heard of, but they're going to hit. And I talked to my boy Tyler Reed about this. He's been on the podcast before, probably, I think, like episode 20 or something, a long time ago. Been talking to him about some sleeper songs. And just over these past few days, I've been jamming to some Earl Sweatshirt and some Odd Future. And just within, like, a few of their albums and a few of their mixtapes, like, I found multiple sleepers in there. So, like, things with Damo Genesis, Left Brain, Mike G. I cannot think of. Oh, Mellow Hype. Just like those that type of rap. One, like, they got sleepers, and then I'm looking to broaden my horizons and reach out more into other genres of music to find those sleepers as well. So when I get all that really prepared and updated, I will put that. We'll put that out there. But if you are curious, like Chris, I want to listen to Bops, bro. Like, I want to see what you're about. I'm trying to listen to some Dave, some Stormzy. Who else we got? Drawing a blank here. I literally prepared for this. Like, was naming off names. Dave, Stormzy. Why can I not think of the third artist? I literally have like 80 songs in the playlist, and I can't think of a third artist. But you get the gist. So if you want to listen to that, you want to listen to I Hate My Stepdad, I will include the link to my Spotify in the description of this episode. So just like scroll down on it, and you'll see the link to my Spotify. Check that out. You know, like the playlist, whatever. Let me know what you think. And then when I get the Certified Sleepers playlist up, you'll see that also, and I'll be sure to update you guys on that. That is what I have for the music portion of Just Chris podcast. Next thing I do want to talk about, I brought this up last week, or not even last week, the solo episode before me and Jay had's episode, talked about a couple books. You know, I keyed the term Just Chris Book Club. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know what Just Chris Book Club is. I highlighted 2 books, and I kind of want to bring those to the table today. So, got these boys right here. If you're watching the video, like, you see what we're working with, 48 Laws of Power and How to Win Friends and Influence People. I've been picking out little things here and there that I kind of want to just bring on the podcast and talk about, a couple key points, a couple key sections. So, you know, I'm just gonna break it down. We're gonna go one section at a time for each of the book. Maybe we're gonna do this every week. Maybe we'll do Just Chris Book Club every other week. We'll see. But first thing I want to talk about, here it is, 48 Laws of Power, written by Robert Greene. Great book so far. I'm about halfway through it. I've really been busting and grinding, trying to get through it. The power, or like the law that I'm going to talk about today, is law number 16, and that is to use absence to increase respect and honor. Use absence to increase respect and honor. What does that mean? So how it's broken down in the book, so too much circulation will make the price go down. I mean, we've seen this with the stock market and the crypto market. Too much of something is going to make the price drop. So the more you are seen and the more you're heard from, the more common you appear. Say if you're already pretty well established in a group, temporarily withdraw from it. So kind of take a step away, and not only like will it make you more talked about, might even make you more admired. And then another thing with this, like, you have to learn when to step away, when to create that absence. And by doing this, it'll kind of create value through security. Another way that is described, so at the start of any affair, for example, start of seeing someone new, started hanging out with a new group of people, you really need to heighten your presence within the group, within that specific person. Really just like spend a lot of time, really make yourself known, like I said, like increase your presence in the eyes of the other people. However, if you step away too early, if you're absent too early in the process, you may be forgotten. So that's when it comes back to learning exactly when to leave this affair, when to leave hanging out with these group of people, when to leave hanging out with this person. And I wouldn't say like leave and completely step away, but if you're going to spend way too much time with someone, like, and you step away, people are going to begin to get curious, like, okay, Chris really kicked it with us the first month of all of us chilling. And now it's like we kind of see him less and less. But every time he does come around, like, it's a great time. So learning when to step away is crucial to this law of power. And then, again, make sure that you heighten your presence from the jump and slowly work away from that. And then there may become a time where you're like, all right, I'm ready to start really kicking it with these people. Like, these are my day ones. You can go back to it. But create that sense of absence where people are going to talk about you. They're going to be curious, where did he go? Why do we not see him around more? And one of the good quotes I saw from this book, was a quote from a dervish, which is, you know, a member of a member of a Muslim religious order that takes vows of poverty and austerity. This is what this man said. This dervish said, why do I not see you more often? Or someone said this to the dervish. They said, why do I not see you more often? And in response, the dervish said, because the words, listen to this, because the words, why have you not been to see me, are sweeter to my ears than, why have you come again? I'll repeat that. Why do I not see you more often? Oh no, I messed that up. Repeat this again. Why have you not been to see me, are sweeter to my ears than the words of, why have you come again? So, reiterate on this. Crucial to step away from a group, step away from a person, step away from the affair, to kind of, I don't know the exact words for it, but kind of create that feeling of loss from the person where they get curious, they want to know more. Like, it's going to bring them back in. Again, just so I don't mess it up a third time, the man said, why do I not see you more often? And in response, the dervish said, because the words, why have you not been to see me, are sweeter to my ears than the words, why have you not come again? Okay. Now, another example of this, great example by the way, is using the sun. So, the sun can only be appreciated by its absence. So, the longer the days of rain, the more the sun is craved. The shittier the weather for an extended period of time, the more you're going to want to have the sun. I felt this, on a personal level when I lived in West Virginia, day after day after day of cloudiness, snow, rain, and we waited for the day the sun would come out. Even if it was 20 degrees out, the sun was out. So, the longer the days of rain, the more the sun is craved. However, too many hot days overwhelm people. So if you have consecutive hot days, like, oh my God, like the sun is out every day, like we kind of need some clouds in here, it's going to be too much. So you have to learn to keep yourself obscure and make people demand your return. I feel like I'm lecturing in class right now. Make people demand the return. Find the dealer, infiltrate the supply. Shout out 21 Jump Street. Okay. That is what I have for 48 Laws of Power. Again, use your absence to increase respect and honor. This is going to pay off. Trust me, Robert Greene wrote about it. You're going to take it to heart. Next book that we have, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This little bad boy right here. And the way, or how this chapter was titled was, if you don't do this, you're headed for trouble. Okay, what exactly am I doing that I'm headed for trouble? All right? So, get this. A person's name to that person is the sweetest, most important sound in any language. So, an individual's name, hearing it from another person, the sweetest sound in any language you speak. So, a nice example of this, remembering names of customers, prospects, when you're networking contacts and colleagues, it is crucial and critical to your ongoing professional success. Remembering names is crucial and critical to ongoing your professional success. So it's essential in forming and strengthening relationships as well as establishing rapport with individuals and feeling confident doing so. So, a tip with learning somebody's name is find out their full name when you meet them, first name, last name. Try to learn some facts about them as an individual. Try to learn some facts about their family. So that way, when you go back and see them again, you remembered, hey, I remember their full name. Maybe I just remember their first name, but I do remember their brother was in the Army. Their mom, works at Costco. Little things like that. So when you ask them about the little things, it stands out. But just when somebody remembers your name, again, like, that's something that always feels good when somebody recognizes you and like, oh, that's Chris, what's up? I'm like, wow, like I don't even remember your name, but I appreciate it. I think, a great example of this was Jim Farley. He was Roosevelt's campaign manager in 1932, and this man claimed to have known 50,000 people's names. Now, when Dale Carnegie approached him about this, he introduced himself, learned his name, and Dale Carnegie says, is it to my understanding that you know 10,000 people's names? to where Jim Farley responded and said, no, I know 50,000 people's names. Could you imagine knowing 50,000 people's names? First name and last name. Like, this man knew the details of these people. And just by doing that, it played a huge role in Roosevelt's campaign, and it also played a huge role in his professional success, getting him to the point where he was the campaign manager in 1932. Where Jim Farley learned this was early in his life. He discovered this early in his life, that the average person is more interested in his or her own name than in any other people or any other names on earth put together. Remember that name and call it easily, and you paid a subtle and very effective compliment. Just like I said, like, remembering someone's name is a huge deal. So remembering the name and being able to call it easily, you paid a subtle and very effective compliment, but you forget it or you misspell it, you goofed. You place yourself at a sharp disadvantage by not knowing their name. An example that he lists is, I once organized a public speaking course in Paris and sent the forms and letters to all American residents that live within Paris. Now, the problem where he messed up was he had French typists write up these letters, write up all these reports, and send them out. Apparently, these French typists had very little knowledge of the English language and then filled in their names. They goofed. They goofed really bad when they wrote out the names. Naturally, they messed up just because, like I said, they were not familiar with the English language. We're not familiar with how things are spelled and said. And one man, the manager of a large American bank in Paris, received this letter that he was addressed regarding this event, regarding this public speaking course, and he went and complained that they messed up my name really bad. In simplest terms, they messed up my name really bad. So, I mean, I'm sure we've all felt this. You've been in class or whatever, somebody mispronounces your name, you see your name misspelled on a paper. You know, it kind of cuts deep. It kind of cuts deep. And one thing that I will add to that, that I've learned to do over the past few years, is repeating people's names back to them. Because by doing that, you're bringing the attention back to them. Say they're zoning out, not really listening to what you have to say. It's unfortunate. But then you're going to say, for example, yeah, so I cut this yard and then I did this. Chris, did you help me with that? As someone's talking to me. They stated my name right there in the sentence. Say I'm zoned out and I hear this. I'm like, oh, they said my name. Okay, like that's going to draw me back into the conversation. So by repeating the name, not too often, but still enough to kind of bring their attention back to you, is very, very important. And I would say it's one of the more slept on things, one of the more subtle things that you may not notice until you start doing it, and then you may not notice until people start saying it to you. So try to include people's names when you're talking to them. Try to include people's names when you're on the phone with them. All right, Chris, well, I'll talk to you soon. Hang up the phone. Names are important, and just remembering names, again, very crucial. Take note of that. That is what I have for 48 Laws of Power and How to Win Friends and Influence People on Just Chris Book Club. Next week we'll be back, maybe the following week. I don't know yet. Like I said, next week we'll be back with another law of power and another key point in how to win friends and influence people. But to finish off this episode, I don't have a lot of battery left on my camera, so if the camera stops recording, I still have the audio. I haven't hit on this in a very long time. When I started the podcast, I focused a lot on finance. Just trying to find, a niche for what I wanted to talk about. I know finance very well, and so that was a topic that I continued to circle back to. Haven't brought it up in a while. Really haven't brought it up since Thad was on the podcast. And even then, we talked very briefly just about earnings weeks, and we talked about Kathy Woods and a lot of her ETFs that she owns. We're not talking about the stock market today. What we are talking about, shame on me, we're talking about the crypto market. And before we get into me discussing the crypto market with you guys, I do want to tell you, this is more important than the 48 Laws of Power and How to Win Friends and Influence People. I am not a financial advisor, nor am I qualified to give any type of financial advice. I'm not registered with the SEC or any related regulatory firms, whatever. Don't listen to me. In simplest terms, don't listen to me when I talk about this. But if you do want to listen to me, that's all you. Like, I'm telling you the same financial advice. My portfolio has been booming lately. It has been really popping off, and it was just probably like within this last month, I've been getting a lot more notifications from Coinbase and from other applications. I'm kind of up. No longer are we down bad. We hit a little rough spot about 2.5, 3 weeks ago where crypto entirely shit the bed, but we're back, baby, and we're doing better than ever. I'm up a substantial amount. We're not going to flex the amount, but just trust me that I'm up a lot in crypto. The things that are really carrying my portfolio right now that I do want to make you guys aware of, if you are not already, you want to get into crypto, you're curious like, Chris, what should I look at? Again, like, don't listen to me, but like, you can listen to me. First things first, first thing that's really been popping off in Chris Carter's crypto portfolio is Algorand. Ticker ALGO. They've been absolutely booming these past 2 weeks. Now, for the month, they're up 116%. Okay. 116%, like, that's kind of a big deal. It gets sweeter when I tell you that they're currently at a price of $2.02. Whoa, up 116% for the month on $2.02. Hopefully we got more room for improvement. Currently, it has a 72.8% buy rating. And one of the best parts about Algorand, they have a 4% annual percentage yield. What does that mean? You're getting 4% per year of what you own in Algorand. It's ultimately like dividends. Like, you're getting paid back just by owning Algorand. Next thing that's booming in Chris Carter's crypto portfolio is Cosmos, another absolute boomer here, up 114% for the month. 114% for the month. Right now, they're selling at a price of $33.39 with a 61% buy rating. Not bad. Still not bad. Even better than Algorand, it has a 5% APY. 5%. So you're making 1% more than what you would on Algorand. However, the price of a coin is, about $30 more. But that's not too bad. That is not too bad. Another thing I want to talk about is Tezos, T-E-Z-O-S, up 87% for the month. What? 87%? At a price of $6.93? Okay. What do they have, Chris? Oh, they just have a 58.5% buy rating with a even better 4.63% APY. Chris, talk dirty to me. What? So these are things that have been killing the portfolio, absolutely, shooting us out of the water here. I check in every day and I'm shocked. I'm like, okay. If it keeps moving like this, Chris Carter is getting a Tesla before we know it. Chris Carter's putting the team on the map. Chris Carter is, balling out. So Algorand, Cosmos, Tezos, keep up the hard work. Another thing that is doing the exact opposite of what I need them to do is AMP. AMP. I need AMP to pick it up. They are currently down 14% for the month. And when I tell you this, you're going to be like, okay, that's not too bad. 14% for the month. If it was something like Cosmos at $33.39, okay, like that's a little more. The price of AMP right now is 5.13 cents. 5.13 cents, and they're down 14% in the month. But does it get better, Chris? Yes. With a 61% buy rating, of course it gets better. AMP is going to be on the map soon, and I'm telling you guys right now, when AMP gets on the map, I'm buying 2 Teslas. I'm putting twice the amount of people on the map. I'm moving the family to LA. Look out. For real. I learned this from Thaddeus Breckenridge. He told me to get on AMP early, and I did just that. So, 5 cents times whatever. I'm not even going to do the math right now for you guys, but we're going to be sitting very nice, even if it reaches $1. Even if it reaches $1, guys, like, the Tesla is on the way. I'm going to ball out, and I'm getting the Tesla Model X, the plaid one. getting a Model X for my daily, selling my Jeep. Guys, we're gonna be sitting nice. So keep an eye out for these three, for Algorand, Cosmos, Tezos. If you want in early, maybe hop in on AMP as well, because like for 5 cents a coin, talk dirty to me again. Now, one thing that I do like about these smaller cap coins is compared to the larger things, Bitcoin, Ethereum, it's much, much easier to go 50% on these coins. It's much easier for a coin to go from 5 cents to 10 cents, or from $1 to $2, than it is for Bitcoin to go from 47 to, I don't know, what's that, 94? 47,000 to 94,000. I haven't even seen Bitcoin reach 75. So banking on Bitcoin to go 50%, not very likely, especially in the short term. Banking on Ethereum to go from 3,500 to 7,000, not very likely, not in the short term. What can we expect with these small cap coins to go from 5 cents to 10 cents? Like, this might jump tomorrow. I might wake up and AMP is at $2.50. If that's the case, I'm quitting my job and never looking back. But it's much easier for these smaller cap coins to double, and to, double the amount of money you have. Like I said, Algorand's up 116% for the month, 114% for Cosmos, Tezos up 87% for the month. For the month. We didn't even see that type of numbers. We didn't even see those numbies with Bitcoin and Ethereum over the past year. No way. No way. Keep an eye on those three. Put AMP on your watch list. If you don't want to make the move, put it on the watch list. Just check it out, see how it's moving. We're going to pray here. We're going to pray that, Chris Carter hits it big off crypto, and I'm just trying to be one of those guys that can, successfully say that I was a Bitcoin billionaire, or not Bitcoin, a crypto billionaire, that I just got crypto money. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. That is what I have for this week's episode of Just Chris Podcast. Guys, thanks so much for listening. And any questions, comments, concerns, curious, like, Chris, where can I learn more about Cosmos, Tezos, or Algorand outside of Google? Hit me up. It's literally right here, justchrispodcast@gmail.com. Check me out. Look out for the YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Like and review the podcast on Apple and Spotify. Subscribe to it. I ain't going anywhere anytime soon, guys. So crypto money's going to hit it big. Thanks for listening and watching, and y'all take care.